One of the themes I have for RVs is that they allow you to live life in your own terms. Getting out there, tackling a mountain, hanging out with your friends, either way, those moments are priceless. For me, the Geo Pro is like the base camp to adventure. And this overlanding guy says it best.
What I didn't want to do is give up the ability to go camping in these super remote destinations, sit around the campfire, just get in your truck and go and find those camp spots. Gladiator is set up completely for overlanding. It has the rooftop tent. I'm putting the fridge in it this weekend, and then we can go out and explore the backcountry and explore the mountains and do our camping, but still come back to a safe, clean environment that we can regroup, edit videos, work, teach, and then move on to the next destination.
Having a smaller camper like this means you're going to be able to get to some locations you wouldn't otherwise. At the end of the day, you want to have that base camp be something where you can really relax and just recover and chill, right? Or if you're not out there adventuring, if you end up full-timing, you want the camper that you choose to last. That's why the Geo Pro in general is hands down one of the best campers you can get in terms of just the structure, the aluminum structure, and the Azdel siding that they use. Although it provides great insulation and overall just lasts a lot longer than wood does. Now, this isn't a walkthrough by any means. I just wanted to highlight a couple different features that this particular camper has that I think make it a contender to use as a base camp for adventure, whether you're full-timing or you're just going for a weekend or maybe a couple weeks, whatever it might be. This actually contends pretty darn well with most of the campers out there. This comes with an 1800 watt inverter and 200 watts of solar right off. But what does that really mean? And I'm going to show you a couple clips from people who are using older campers that only have like 1,000 watt inverter and 100 watts of solar, and they're doing great.
The solar works amazing. We, full disclosure, we were in Portland, Oregon, where it rained 8 days in a row, and it killed our solar after about day 4. We had to go to a campground and plug in. But the solar package is absolutely amazing. We have been on the road over 6 months, over 18,000 miles, and we have only plugged in about 10 days. We're completely off the grid. It's awesome.
Even though we do a lot of boondocking, I wanted a coffee maker. I got sick of waiting for it to perk or whatever we do. So we've been having good luck with that. Run the inverter early in the morning for 15 minutes max. Brings the battery down to about 87%. If there's any sun at all, it recharges it. You never even know it by the time you go.
Having the upgrade from like 1,000 watts to 1,800 watts and 200 watts of solar with the capability going to 600 watts, hands down, that's going to give you a lot more capability to really do things way out there for a long period of time. More often than not, the limitation is going to be more with your holding tanks than with your power. If you don't realize by now, I love the Geo Pros. And this one is really cool for a couple different reasons. And one of those is that you basically have a wraparound bed. So you can get out on either side, right? So if you're a couple or you have a special sleepover, then, you know, the person can get out on either side rather than, you know, rolling over the other person. There's another cool feature to have in this setup, and that has to do with the bed itself. Now, with my camper, I've got this huge queen-size bed, and what happens is, if I want to get under there and, like, clean or make sure that, you know, there's ventilation under there periodically, flipping things around, you know, that kind of thing, it really is kind of a chore to do all that. Well, having a wraparound like this makes it pretty easy to, not only do you have storage underneath, of course, but it just makes it pretty darn easy to put some slats under here, or clean under here, or you know, flip things around if you end up having a bed you're gonna flip, and really just making sure that we have ventilation in there, because from experience, being in a small camper, that's one of the things you need to be concerned about is ventilation, and making sure that, you know, you really don't want that condensation to build up. You don't want any mold to build up or anything like that. Benefit of these campers, these Geo Pros, they've got no wood in the walls. It's all aluminum that you've got in there besides the Azdel siding. And that's really, really nice to have. Now, another cool thing about this whole setup is these plugs are wired for the inverter. You know, like I took my camper and I got an extra battery for it, and I've got suitcase holders, and so I can set that up. But the thing of it is, my plugs on the inside are not wired. I didn't go through and wire all the plugs so that I could use them. I got one plug that plugs into the inverter, and that's what I use. And it does work. But I'm telling you, it's really nice being able to plug into all these different outlets when you're out boondocking and you're running off of solar. Overall, people in the wild, so to speak, have had really good experiences with the solar. Having that solar package, 200 watts of solar right off the bat, a base camp, who wouldn't want that capability, right? One of the things I love to use when I'm traveling is Harvest Host, and that's where you can go to different, farms, wineries, breweries, restaurants, and so on. For a bottle of wine, a meal, whatever it might be, you get to stay overnight. And I've stayed in some amazing places. And although sometimes you can use your slide outs, more often than not, it's going to be a situation where you can't use your slide outs. So you're going to have to be in road mode, right? When you're in road mode, you've got this situation. And that is, you can only open up the door so wide. I can actually squeeze through here and use the bathroom. So it's not really going to be an issue for me necessarily, but it is kind of a tight fit. I just barely squeeze through there. So if you're a little bit larger, then you might have an issue squeezing through there. Now, one of the solutions that people have is taking this piece out. Now, obviously, making sort of modifications to your camper is going to be something you're going to, want to do maybe after the warranty, that kind of stuff. But it is one of those things to consider about the camper. Times when I use the Giant, are great, but it, for the most part, isn't as comfortable as I would like. So I really like having this couch option, and also being able to just take this thing and configure it however I need to. I can actually even set this up, check this out. So you can take this and it could technically be prep. Right? You could sit there and prep your stuff or cook or whatnot. So it gives you an extended prep spot. Now, not everybody's going to think that's a great setup, but I can tell you from experience in using different surfaces in my own camper that I think this could work out pretty darn well. One of the other cool things I really like about this that makes you really want to get it is having this size oven. Now, if you look at a regular sized oven in an RV, you guys like half this size. This one, you could actually put a small chicken in there, and maybe even a tiny turkey, but I don't think most people would consider it to be that large enough for that. I'm going to point out one of the obvious things you can do with this, in case you didn't know. But this actually comes off of here, okay? You can tighten everything down, but I had to loosen it up so I could do this. And then this comes off of here, right? And then this comes out as a bed. Now, I know what you're thinking, just as I did. It's like, okay, well, how comfortable is this, And I have to say, it's actually more comfortable than most that, turn into a bed like this. Now, that said, if you're particular, you might want to get some sort of topper that you could put on there, kind of roll up. I don't know. That would be kind of elaborate. I mean, I found it actually comfortable enough. You're not sleeping on the ground, that's for sure. Okay, so the last little feature that I wanted to point out, which I think is really kind of cool, is the shower miser. When you're boondocking and you want to heat up your water, but you don't want to have it go down the drain, so it cycles the water through until it's heated up, and then it'll spit it out for you. But that's just being miserly, shower miser, right, with the water. And when you're out there, you gotta be careful with your water, not only for filling up the tank. There's some stats on all that down below in the description. So if, like me, you're really excited about having a base camp unit like this to adventure with, come on down to Open Road, Smokey Point, and ask for Wyatt. I'll be happy to share a cup of coffee with you and show you all about this rig. Thanks a lot for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, and I'll see you next time.